take my roller skates off. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Clay Otis and the Showbiz Lights with the Velcro Girl. Ahead of that, it was Land Divided with If They Only Knew. As we sneak up into the nooner here on this Thursday, it's the 26th of May. As promised, it's time to lighten the load, if you will, in a metaphorical sense. I mean, you know, school shootings being what they are, this one does hit a little heavier. A lot of people are having some really hard emotions over this whole thing, and we have to address it. I mean, there's no two ways around it. This is, by and large, sort of a loosely based comedy-ish sort of show kind of thing. And we do have silly stuff to get into, and I have something here that is some good news, and we all kind of need it every once in a while, and this is maybe something that will stick with you as you get ready for perhaps a lunch or thinking of something to eat. And I have some pretty amusing food news. This comes to us from Insider.com, which is a fun read from time to time. And this specifically comes to us from Annetta Constantidis, who is a writer for Insider, and she wrote this this first-person account. So I'm going to read it to you kind of as written and have a bit of fun with this. Anita had a chance to speak with Dolly Parton back in January. And before we go any further, let's just preface this by saying that Dolly Parton is an American treasure.
Yeah, she is. I think most people would agree with that.
I think that you have to open yourself up to what Dolly brings to the world. You know, she's like. She's sending like books and shit to kids in Ukraine. You know, I mean, she's helping people that have come to the United States from that area as refugees.
Yeah.
When all those fires happened in East Tennessee, and all those people lost their homes, she was the first one to start writing checks. You know, that's just the kind of a person that she is, and she's a very gracious woman. Yeah. And she's like America's girlfriend. You know, everybody
she
loves
really
her.
is, and she's been that way.
Forever.
God, forever.
Yeah. You know, like the way people think of Keanu Reeves as America's boyfriend, Dolly is America's girlfriend. Everybody
but he's Canadian.
Yeah, so.
he is kind of America's boyfriend.
We'll let that slide.
Right.
That and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Right. I think he'd rather forget that one, too.
Probably so, which is a shame because it's a delightful film. Any rate, I digress. So Anita said, before I spoke with Dolly Parton back in January, I did a deep dive into her old interviews and discovered one from 2016 in which she revealed she absolutely loves going to Taco Bell for date nights with her husband, Carl.
Well, I don't blame her. I like Taco Bell, too. It's good, cheap, fast food.
So during an interview that she sat with Andy Cohen during his show, she said this, quote, Carl and I have a little camper, a little RV, and we're always driving through fast food restaurants to get our stuff. She says, I'm always in the front seat. Sometimes they know me, sometimes they don't. Now, Anita says, as a fellow Taco Bell superfan, I knew I had to bring up the chain when Dolly and I sat down together on Zoom. And the country music legend was happy to share her usual Taco Bell order.
She's a fan of the taco pizza, isn't she? I'm willing to bet that's her favorite thing.
She said this. I like soft shell tacos.
Ah, okay.
I like the others, but they fall apart so bad, especially if you're riding around.
Oh, I know. Yeah, tacos are not car food.
Unless you're the passenger. But still, you got to have like a table.
Yeah, and the soft tacos are much easier.
She says, so I always get a taco supreme with the sour cream and all that in the soft shell. I just love it. She said, I get an order of rice and beans, and I get mild sauce. I don't like to get it too hot and ruin everything.
Oh, I do. I like the hot stuff.
So as she revealed her usual Taco Bell order, she mentioned that she also used to love the Mexican pizza.
Aha! I knew it!
Anita said, I asked the country music legend if she thought Taco Bell should bring it back, and her answer was immediate and enthusiastic. She basically screamed, I think they should. I love this woman.
I do too.
Taco Bell fans were, of course, outraged back in November of 2020 when the chain discontinued its Mexican pizza after 35 years on the menu. I didn't know it had been around.
I didn't know it had been that long either.
More than 170,000 people even signed a Change.org Save the Mexican Pizza petition. But Parton's dreams came true when the Mexican pizza returned to menus on May 19, and she even posted an Instagram of herself reuniting with her beloved menu item.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
Now, Dolly is now joining forces with fellow Taco Bell superfan Doja Cat for Mexican Pizza, the musical. We talked a little bit about that a few weeks back. We did. She's taking.
I vaguely remember, but I think I kind of put that out of my head because.
Well, it debuts on TikTok today. The Mexican Pizza. The musical.
That's right. On TikTok. Okay, now I remember. Yes. A
spokesweasel for Taco Bell said that the satirical musical will follow the story of those who fought to bring back the Mexican pizza.
Well, I'm going to have to look that up.
So, Anita here, she said, after talking to Dolly, I recently went to my local Taco Bell and ordered the Dolly special.
Yes, they ought to rename it.
And here's what it consists of. A $4.49 Mexican pizza, a $2.29 soft taco supreme, and a $1.79 side of rice and beans. Now, per Dolly's recommendation, I only got the mild sauce package, and the entire order cost me just $8.57. Now, she says, I had never ordered the Mexican pizza before. It was removed from the Taco Bell menu, so this was my first time just to given the dish a try.
Yeah.
The iconic thing features ground beef and refried beans sandwiched between two tortilla shells that have been topped with cheese, tomatoes, and pizza sauce.
Well, not pizza sauce.
Well, their pizza sauce. But anyway,
Mexican sauce.
She says, the Mexican pizza has a great combination of texture and flavors. I loved the crispy tortilla base, which added crunch to every bite, and thought the beef was nicely seasoned with tasted delicious. She said, I also enjoyed the fresh tomatoes on top and was a huge fan of the pizza sauce. My only wish was that the beef and beans had been a little bit more evenly distributed. But while the slices I ate had plenty of beef, my parents, who were also trying Mexican pizza for the first time, said that they could only taste the beans.
Well, that's because they're old. Their taste buds are dead.
The soft taco supreme included seasoned beef, tomatoes, lettuce, cheese, and sour cream. And she goes, I usually don't go for tacos over there, oddly enough. I know. In the past, I've been disappointed by the tacos' stale veggies and lack of flavor, the delicious Cantina crispy melt being a major exception. She said, so I didn't have high hopes for Parton's beloved soft taco supreme, but as always, Dolly did not lead me astray. She said, I was actually pleasantly surprised by the soft taco supreme.
I love it.
The lettuce and tomatoes were crisp and fresh, and the beef had pretty good flavor, and there was a good distribution of ingredients. The soft taco supreme is solid and reliable, so I'm not surprised that Dolly Parton is a huge fan.
Right.
And adding some of her favorite mild sauce made each bite a little bit better.
She's a little too excited about this story.
Look, if Dolly Parton told me to do something and to try something,
I'd probably go do it too.
I'd get pretty excited about that too.
Yeah, you know? I think I would too.
You know, Rick, you should try a butt plug sometime.
Sure, I'm ordering one today.
Let me see what Dolly, she's not wrong. Bad example.
Really bad example.
At any rate, Anita said,
in a dishwasher?
I see why not. She said, it'd be awful in your washing machine. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Anyway, Anita says, I've had plenty of rice and beans and Taco Bell's burritos, but never as a separate side, and both still are pretty good flavor without the extra ingredients. The black beans, nicely cooked, not too hard, not too mushy, and the seasoned rice was pretty good as always. My dad was especially surprised by how much he loved that side, and he kept going back for more forkfuls.
Oh, my God, that's funny.
So, to wrap it all up, the Mexican pizza is such a fun and playful dish with plenty of delicious flavor. It's perfect for an easy lunch or late-night snack. And now I understand why it has so many loyal fans. All of Dolly Parton's Taco Bell favorites are solid choices, but I can't say I'm too surprised. Dolly clearly knows a thing or two about good food. I'm sure she does. I just find that adorable.
I do too.
That her and Carl just, ride
around their RV, getting Mexican pizza.
Because you get a Taco Bell anywhere, wherever you're out on the road. And she's like, hey, let's just stop over here. I need a pizza. I can just see it now.
My son was a big fan of those. He was kind of bent out of shape when they took him away, too. I'm sure he's happy now. I'll tell him that he's in good company with Dolly.
Mm-hmm. If you want to see the Mexican Pizza the Musical, it is debuted on TikTok today. I don't know if it's out right this minute, but it probably is. Just look for Taco Bell, at Taco Bell Theater. Right. And there's a little Playbill announcement, and Dolly is, I think, in the lead amongst of quite a few people.
Wait, is this a race?
Just the lead actor.
Oh, okay.
But it's a musical. So, good for her. And
I think that's funny.
When you look at it, I mean, that's the whole deal right there for less than $10. I mean, it's like, hey, look, I know it sounds like we're shilling for the Taco Bell, and we kind of are, but it's more Dolly than anything else.
Now.
So, yeah. And it's, I'm surprised. That's a lot of food. And
it is.
And I'm surprised Dolly eats. I bet she eats. I bet she's just an animal when she goes to get into this thing.
God.
She's eating like a stoner with the munchies at that point.
I didn't know they had black beans.
Yeah, I learn something new every day.
I had no idea. I've never seen that on a menu.
Typically, when we go to fast food joints, we have our standard order,
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's the bean burrito.
Yeah. I'll take a couple of bean burritos, and that's about it.
I like the bean burrito.
Bean burrito's pretty good, yeah.
Just beans, cheese, onions.
Maybe
and
some
then I put
cream,
some fire sauce on them.
Oh, yeah, the fire sauce is where it's at. Yeah.
I'm a fan of Taco Bell.
And so is Dolly.
So is Dolly.
It would be, can you imagine how much fun it would be in that RV with Carl and Dolly, and we just go right over to the Taco Bell.
Taco Bell and get
Pull over on the side of the road somewhere and sit down and have lunch.
Just sit and have lunch, right. That gives me an idea.
Well, let's get her on the phone. We have Taco Bells in Memphis. I would absolutely relish the opportunity to have a bit of an interview with Dolly.
I'd love to.
Even if it was through Zoom or through our system here. It'd be great if she was in here, but have her play.
Oh my God!
Have her play the Radio Memphis guitar. Hell, we'll build a band around her. We'll do a thing.
Oh hell, yes.
That would be fun. But she's just, she's a good human. That's the thing about her. Mm-hmm. She's a classy lady.
Yeah, she is, and the things that she says seem to be genuine. I've always got.
Yeah, she's not a fraud.
No. I've never. She's only been real from the first time I ever saw her.
Oh, sure. And she's she's funny and she's, very affable, but she just feels like everybody else just kind of knows her,
Yeah.
And I have the sneaking suspicion that if you meet her, I think she would be just the way you would expect her to be.
Right. Just like you see her in interviews and yeah. I would think so too.
I go back to this because we've talked about it before. The notion that Brian Johnson from AC/DC spent time on a tour bus. And that interview is hilarious. Because they're like two little old ladies talking about show clothes. And it's so funny.
They're probably both about the same age too, which is really
I think that's part of it. And Brian is like going through the racks in of her wardrobe and
he's looking at stuff.
And he goes, oh, that's a very delightful little sequin number right there. And then she goes, I've always kind of liked what you fellas were doing over there on the AC/DC thing. Because that just, that's just some good straight rock and roll right there. And he goes, oh, don't you know it, ma'am? They're just having a time. Having a fine time.
Okay, Brian Johnson is 74.
Is he really?
And Dolly is 76.
So, gosh, she's 76. She looks like she's like 40.
I know.
Good God. Well, having money.
Well, she said it cost a lot to
look this cheap.
To look this cheap. Whoa.
But she don't look cheap, though.
No,
dude.
she doesn't.
That was a thing back in the day.
Wait a minute. Who is, I forgot about her. Who? Is that her sister, Stella?
Yeah, she has a sister.
Who is 3 years younger. How come I've never seen her sister who looks a lot like her?
If I'm not mistaken, her sister works with Dolly in the biz. I don't know if she's a singer, but she's, I don't know, maybe not.
Her sister looks older than her. And she's 3 years younger.
Well, there's that. I mean, she's clearly not eating enough Taco Bell, apparently.
Yeah, Stella's kind of a cutie, too. Wow.
Well, Taco Bell done fell into having a kind of an unwitting spokesperson in Dolly Parton.
Yeah, they did.
We're not getting paid, and neither is she. Granted, she's making a little bit more than we are, but, hey, that's all well and good. That's the kind of star power that you got to have.
I think Stella does perform.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Stella Parton?
There she is with a guitar.
Over at Dollywood, maybe?
Wow.
Or is she the opening act?
It looks like she's performing with her in a number of cases. Wow, man. I had no idea that I didn't know she had any siblings. She never talked about them, I don't think. In any of the interviews I've ever seen.
One of the encounters I've had with Willie Nelson and his band, that's kind of a family affair, too.
Yeah, it is.
Because his sister was playing piano for him, and then...
A nephew playing harmonica.
Yeah, and a cousin.
Yeah.
Or a brother-in-law or something.
No, it was his band was family members.
Yeah, they were all family over there. And they were all so goddamn nice. I mean, they were just so pleasant.
I have a friend back in Galveston.
Yeah.
He was bartending for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the music business. Got a degree in engineering. We were talking about that. And one time he just said, I used to work at Pedernales Studios.
Uh-huh.
And I said, with Willie.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I got to know Willie pretty well.
Yeah.
And he turns around and he shows me one of his ass cheeks.
By accident?
No, on purpose.
He just mooned him?
No, he showed me. Mooned me.
Oh, you.
Well, yeah. There's a big marijuana leaf on his butt cheek.
A tattoo?
A tattoo.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, you know how I got that? And I said, no.
Willie gave it to him?
He made a bet with Willie Nelson.
Oh, dear God.
It was over at Texas A&M, University of Texas game.
Ah, the big rivalry.
And I think he was a big A&M fan.
Uh-huh.
And
Willie, not so much?
yeah, Willie is a Texas fan. And I guess. This is just what he told me.
Uh-huh.
Made a bet. A&M wins. Willie had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
A&M loses. My friend had to get a marijuana leaf tattooed on his butt.
That's how we got
I was
the
like,
tattoo.
well, that's a great story, man. Because I don't know any other reason. And it's right square in the middle of his butt cheek.
Well, at least it's in the proper spot, right?
Yeah. And
That's
I'm like,
right
yeah,
where you keep your
right
wallet.
there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, now, that's a tattoo worth having. I lost a bet with Willie Nelson.
Because the story that goes with it is...
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's funny.
I mean, he might get in trouble telling the story when he shows it, but, he's a school teacher now.
With a tattoo of
With a tattoo, cannabis leaf on his ass. Kids are never going to see it.
Well, of course not. Well, yeah, that's sort of the point there. Why you put it where it is.